Hi ladies and gents, and welcome back to one of my videos. So this video is not going to be for everyone, okay? It's definitely going to be for ladies or gents, right? Or both of you guys, but it's not going to resonate with everyone, okay? This video is in particular for the chosen ones, okay? For God's warriors, for light beings, for earth angels, all right? You guys know who you are. You've got a different spirit. You've got a huge heart. You truly are an earth angel because you make so much difference in so many people's lives, and that's whether you know it or not. Okay. For those of you that are on your way to awakening and you haven't awakened just yet, right? You still make so much of a difference in people's lives. Okay, and it doesn't matter how much you physically have. It doesn't matter whether you have a high status job or you get paid a lot of money. None of that matters, okay? The physicality does not matter when it comes to earth angels, okay? And the difference that they're making, okay? Because you guys have two jobs in this world, okay? Um, most people, have just one, right? But the chosen ones, they have two jobs, okay? Whether they realize it or not, okay? And um, a lot of times you will be placed into specific locations. You'll be placed with particular people, and you'll be placed into specific situations that your ego doesn't necessarily want to be in, okay? Of course, there's free will, right? So ultimately, it is our decision, right? But with that said, right? Ultimately, by serving or by showing up in other people's lives or by being in certain situations, right? Or by getting involved with certain people or certain types of people, by helping them as an earth angel, right? You're ultimately going to be also helping yourself, okay? And what do I mean by helping yourself? Well, this can be in many ways actually, right? So you could be helping yourself. For example, maybe you need housing, right? So that person is going to help you in that aspect, okay? And you're going to help them in a more emotional way, right? So usually, right, even if you don't see it, that relationship will be reciprocal, right? So it's gonna go both ways, okay, whether you know it or not, okay? And so but for the most part, right, the people that are going to be drawn to you, they're going to be the people that unconsciously need a lot of help, even the narcissists, even the psychopaths, okay? Although that's a slightly different case, right? And they might, as they're operating in a completely different spirit, right? So they're going to try to hinder your progress. They're going to try to prevent you from doing God's work. They're going to do everything in their power to stop you, right? And of course, the physical person behind the spirit doesn't necessarily realize that they're doing that they're serving the devil, but that's what they're ultimately doing, right? And so you're going to meet a lot of those people too, right? And like I said, even those people without their awareness unconsciously, right? They know that they need healing, so they're going to be drawn to you, right? And of course, that's the case of like opposites attracting, definitely, right? Anyway, so back to what I was talking about, right? So the chosen ones, they have two jobs, okay? And the two jobs, well, they're not going to be doing this for free necessarily, guys, right? And that's for the reasons that I mentioned, right? It's because ultimately by helping others, you're also helping yourself in one way or another, okay? So it's always going to be reciprocated, right, in one way or another, okay? So you're going to get compensated for even that, you know? So you know, I've been in many different situations in my life, right, where I was placed into different situations with different people, and it seemed like I was constantly thrown into these situations with either, you know, it seemed like I was always in chaotic situations with people that, you know, needed help, right? Were, I don't know, were on drugs, you know, and they needed to be pulled out of those situations, right? Or, you know, or maybe they were, they needed a kind word, right? Or maybe it was someone who was in need of a shoulder to lean on and to cry on, right? Or someone who would understand them, and basically someone who would be like a therapist, right? And would just simply listen without judgment, right? I've had a situation where, you know, a girl was raped, you know, and she was dealing with so much. She was dealing with rape, you know, with the emotions that come after being raped, right? And so she was dealing with the job loss, right, and with issues with her boyfriend, basically, you know, and she was just she was experiencing a lot of, you know, different issues, and you know, she was drawn to me for exactly this reason, okay? And she didn't know it, she wasn't aware of it consciously, but I knew what was going on right away, you know? So even if you are in a completely different profession, sometimes people will be drawn to you for those reasons, right? So they might be drawn to you because they need healing, right? They might be drawn to you because they feel like you can awaken them to who they truly are, because you can guide them, right, into the right direction. They might be drawn to you because they need a place to stay. You know, maybe they're in trouble, right, in one way or another, okay? And this can actually this can go both ways, Earth Angels, okay? So you yourself can also be drawn to specific individuals for exactly those reasons, you know? And so, and you'll also, in those cases, you'll get intuitive nudges that they're going to be in your life for whatever reason, you know? Maybe they're there to help you, right? Maybe, like I said, maybe you need a place to stay. Maybe you're in a situation where you're out of money, you don't have any friends, right? You don't have any family, and without this particular person that just came into your life to help you, you will end up on the streets or something like that, right? So you will intuitively know when a certain person comes into your life, and when this person and that this person was meant to help you, okay? And other people can intuitively tell this too, okay? Yes, guys, so let's go back to having two jobs, right? So Earth Angels will have two specific jobs, right? They're going to, first of all, they're going to have to work the physical jobs, of course, right? In order to, or create systems, I don't know, whatever it is that you think will help you make money, right? But while you're on your way there, God will not just randomly let you get a position where you're not going to be serving spiritually in one way or another, okay? So your ego might want one job, okay, but while God has other plans for you, okay? So you know, that's why, for example, a lot of people, they might go into certain field, right, and they might try to get a job there, but no matter how hard they're trying to get a job there in that specific field, right, they're just not going to be able to do that, right? And so that's the reason, right? It's because God has other plans for you somewhere else, okay? And your ego is not always going to particularly like the direction that you're going to be going into, okay? But ultimately, it's going to be for your highest good, and it's going to benefit a lot of people too, especially spiritually along the way, okay? And of course, you're going to learn from those situations, and you're going to improve in many ways, okay? So whether you see it or not, okay? So guys, don't despair. If you're a chosen one, if you're working in some kind of a dead-end job, or seemingly a job that you don't really understand why you're even there, okay? This can be the reason, okay? It's because the people that are there also, they need you spiritually. They need someone like you to be there. They need for someone like you to uplift them, to help them emotionally and mentally and in every way. They need someone like you to pinpoint them into a certain direction, okay? So this can be through, you know, your positivity, right, through your kind words, through your wisdom, you know. It can be in many different. You might be wondering, you know, what's wrong over time. You might notice this pattern, like, why do I attract all these broken people? Why do I attract so many damaged people? Why do I attract all these crazy people, right? Why is it, you know, why is it always me? Why can't I attract someone normal, right? Well, the reason being is because the people that are in need of healing, they're going to be attracted to you, okay? Because they know that you can help them in one way or another, right? They know that they intuitively sense that you're a healer, okay? And of course, the unconscious, unaware empaths, right, or earth angels, that's also going to happen to them. It's going to happen to the aware ones and unaware ones, right? But there's a difference, right? You will, as an aware empath or as an aware chosen one, you will understand why this is happening, right? So you're not going to be blaming yourself any longer. You know this is happening for the greater good, and you know this is happening because these people, they can sense and they intuitively know that you can guide them and you can help them on their healing journey, right? So that's the reason why you attract them, right? So you're not going to take it personally anymore. And perhaps you might choose to help them, right? Like I said, we all have free choice free will, right? And so because you have free will, you can either say yes or say no to going into that specific relationship, right, or not. Anyways, and be it a work relationship, be it a friendship, be it a romantic relationship, or whatever, right? But anyways, but while an unawakened empath, right, or an earth angel, they're going to probably blame themselves. They're gonna think something is wrong with them. They're gonna feel like they're unlovable, right? And they're going to really blame themselves, right? They're gonna think, why am I always in these situations? Why am I going through these? Why am I in this crappy job? They're going to blame themselves. They're going to feel like they're not good enough, right? And so on. And instead of seeing the bigger picture, instead of seeing on why God actually wants them in those particular locations, in that particular job, with those specific people, okay? So yeah, that's why, that's where the difference lies, right? When I was unawakened and unaware, right, I was still helping a lot of people unknowingly, I suppose, right? And even when I was going through like a lot of challenges, people were still drawn to me, right? People still wanted to talk to me, and strangers would just open up to me. They would want to like discuss their personal issues with me. They would just spill their beans, right? Like within, I don't know, 5 minutes of meeting me, And sometimes I was going through like a lot of my own issues and troubles, right? And I was like, oh my goodness, like, why is this happening to me? I feel like they're adding on to my load. Of course, also felt good, that I could help them some way, right? But I felt like sometimes I felt like it was a little bit too much. Like, wait a minute, I need to help myself first, right? Before I help anyone else. So it's kind of, that's how I kind of felt. And I guess the biggest difference between an awakened and an unawakened empath or earth angel is that the unawakened earth angel still goes into relationships without listening to their intuition, right? And yes, while they might help that person, right? Like an arc, for example, they might help them in certain ways, right? They're probably not going to really, they're not going to really be able to help them entirely, okay? Because a narcissist, while some might be able to recover, maybe, right? Those are rare cases, and I'm not certain if that can actually happen. I've seen some people online that say that they are recovered narcs and that they've managed to heal and get out of those toxic patterns, right? I don't know what to really believe with that. When it comes to that, it's complicated, But anyways, what I mean is that the person has to want to help themselves, right? And maybe some narcs are capable of that. I'm not quite sure. Maybe if the bad spirits have been if they've been freed from those bad spirits, and if they've mentally freed themselves, and they've I don't know, if they really try, maybe they can, but I'm not certain, okay? But like I said, right, when it comes to those relationships with those particular individuals, the really toxic ones, right, the really low vibrational individuals, it is not a good idea to get involved in those, right? Even if the two of you can learn some lessons, right? And perhaps, because you always can, right? It's I think it's a karmic relationship, right? And it's not going to ultimately it's going to be one hell of a ride, basically, right, for you. And that's why initially your intuition was against it, right? But an unawakened empath is probably going to go into that relationship, right? And they're going to want to save and help that person, right? Even though that person probably doesn't really stand a chance, right? While an awakened empath, an unawakened earth angel, right, they're going to understand that this person is probably not going to, even with their love, right, even with their, I don't know, with their light, with their healing energy, even with everything that they will want to provide and give to that person is probably not going to really even appreciate that help or really even get too much from it. They're just going to play the victim, right? And they're going to continue with their toxic ways, right? And so that is the problem, guys. And well, not sorry, let's go back to the awakened empath, right? And so the awakened empath has learned, right, from their mistakes, because they probably stepped on the same spot a couple of times, right? And so they know better than to get into a relationship with a really toxic individual, right? Because they know that they probably cannot help them, right? So an awakened empath is going to choose who they want to help. Basically, they're going to choose very carefully, because they know that by not choosing and by operating unconsciously when it comes to other people, right, they know that they might get involved with a very demonic spirit that will eventually try to dim their light, that will eventually try to, well basically try to end them, so an aware empath is going to be careful when it comes to different energies, okay? And they're going to be very selective about who they're going to help, okay? And guys, this help comes in it's going to even happen on your vacation. For example, while you think you're relaxing and you're going to your vacation, for example, right, you might meet an individual that you'll be drawn to, right, and they'll be drawn to you. And I've had this lady, basically, right, we were going to Greece, me and my son were going to Greece, right, and I saw this lady on the playground, right, with her kids, and she had just beautiful children, two little children, right? They looked like angels, and I liked something about that lady, right? That was I was drawn to her, right? And I was like, interesting, I don't know, she just caught my eye, right? She caught my attention. And so I saw her two more times, once and then another time, right? And then the second time around, we didn't really say anything to each other. I think we just kind of saw each other, and that's it, right? And then me and my son were going to Greece, right? To Kavala, right? And so we took a bus to get to Kavala, right? And so we took the bus, and guess what, guys? It was like a really small mini bus that only like allows 6 people, right? And so the lady was there, the same lady, and she sat right next to me. She saw me and she was like, hey, And so we started talking, right? And I felt like I had to speak to her, like I was drawn to her, basically, right? And I guess she was drawn to me, right? So we had this really long and drawn out conversation, and it lasted pretty much like the entire trip, So like for 3 hours or something like that, I don't know, right? And so yeah, and like I said, earth angels, right, they're really connected to source, and they're guided as far as other people, right? They know exactly what to say to other people in order to help them. And so that's exactly what happened. I felt intuitively, I knew exactly what to say to this lady, and it was coming from source, from God, right? And so this lady was guided in some way, guided into a positive direction, right? So that's just one example of how earth angels, or the chosen ones, do their